You're finished with your tag. You're ready to do a final check before you submit it for printing. So a few things. First, when you go into My Designs, that's where you find something you've started before. Find the tag you're working on. This is the one I'm doing. Check your name. There would have been some type of directions for how to name your tag. And for sure, those directions include that you need to have the word tag in it. So if you did not get to name it correctly, sometimes we don't have time at the end of class, you can click the pencil right here and fix it. So the word tag has to be there. And it needs to be separate. You can't have it squished to other things because then it's not a word, it's just a jumble of letters. So make sure it looks like that. It's how I can find it because I search through all the designs in Maker's Empire with the word tag. If you don't have the word tag, I can't find yours. Also, do not put a price on your tag. If you don't want other people to have it, click hide. But when we do assignments in class, we're not putting a price on it. Now, to edit or to do your double check, you're going to click on the big pencil here as if you're going to edit. The first thing we're going to do is check our ring. You need to think about how this will hang. So picture it. I see a lot of people hang them from like backpacks and such. And so when I think of this hanging, with the ring here, it's going to hang sideways. I think if it's going to hang from a backpack, which is where I see most of them, or a bag, I would want it to be more towards the top so it's more upright. So the first thing I'm going to do is check everything for my ring. Is it in a location I like? And is it in the right place? So I can see my ring is not sticking out of the top. That's good. Rotate, click and rotate. We should not see your ring or anything sticking out of the bottom. Now I see my ring is sticking out of the bottom. I need to fix that. The best way to fix it is not to grab it and try to move it. Click on it, click the move, and let's do this. So first, the Z for your ring is supposed to be 0. You may have had it there, but sometimes things get moved accidentally. That, if your ring is sticking out, should probably fix it. Now, you see how it looks like I can see it? That's only because it was the last thing I clicked on. If I click on the base, you can see it goes away. If you didn't change if your ring is too thick, like it's sticking out at the top or the bottom, click on the resize. So we want our Z to be 2.8. If it's not 2.8, you might need to change it. Remember, if I change it, it has to have the 2 arrows because when it has the 4 arrows, it changes everything. You have to click this little button to get to free resize and make it be 2.8. Now this is not where I want my ring, so I'm going to move it. Again, I can grab it and drag it, but then I have to be careful. I'm going to have to check, did I push it too low and everything? Free dragging works, but it also is just that. It's moving and you don't know everywhere that it's moving. So I like to use this, or I like to use these, because it helps me be more precise. Now sometimes I need to free drag, and sometimes, so I think I'd rather have this on the corner. I kind of like them on the corners, or I would put it on the top, because when it's hanging, I want people to see what it says. So I think a diagonal hang, like a little corner hang would work, and I think a top hang would work. I'm not in love with the side hang. So my ring should be good. Yep, my ring is good. Take care of your ring and then come back. Now we're going to take a look at our decorations. So assuming your base is the correct size, which we set our base to be 3 millimeters tall, and is in the right place, should be at Z0. When you rotate, well, now you should be ready to look at your decorations. So the first thing I notice when I turn it sideways, and you have to turn it sideways because it all looks great from the top. When I turn it sideways, do you notice how my DA is a lot shorter than my other decorations? I need to make that taller. If your decorations look about that tall, they are not tall enough. They should probably look about that tall, which is kind of hard to see because of my, like more like my heart. So, are they tall enough? Look at that first. These are not. I'm going to click here. Remember, if you have the 4 arrows, that's not going to work. You need the 2 arrows, so you click this. I need it to be taller. Look, my Z is 1.8. I must have forgotten to change the size. It happens. So you can just click right here until it gets taller. Or, I tend to, like my things to be the same size, so I'm going to check that. That's a 4. So I'm going to make that a 4. And you also kind of want to be sure your stuff is pushed in or touching. So I make mine a 4 so that I can also kind of push them in. So 1 millimeter is in, holding it tight, 3 millimeters or above. Now, I can see that this one's really tall, which gives me the thought that it's floating, and if I look really closely, I can see it is. You need to move all around to be sure you're not floating. And one way you can check, when you click on something, you can see it go below. You can see where the bottom is. So if I click on this, I don't see the bottom intersecting with the base. So I'm just going to click here, go down. Now I can see, when I click on it, I can see the outline goes into the base. It doesn't have to be that low. Maybe yours only goes in a little bit, but you want to see that it goes into the base. And my heart looks good. And I just click on it to be sure, so my heart sticks into the base just a little bit. So, but that's okay. So now, again, nothing is sticking out of the bottom. That little ring is fooling us, but it's fine. You also shouldn't see anything hanging off the edge. And all of your stuff needs to be tall enough. Rotate it so it's looking good. Click finish. Be sure you have the correct name. We're not charging a price for this, especially because if there's something that needs to be fixed, I go get it out of the gallery and I can fix it for you. If you've put a price on it, I am not paying to get your work, so you're going to have to fix it. Don't put a price on it. When you have all that, you're ready for printing. You can call it done.